Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TeamSpeak Team Liquid StarCraft 2 Open. It's time for game number 4 here in the grand finals between two Terrans, Drewbie from Root versus Kyhol from, what was it, Gosu in the making, GITM?
Oh, yeah, get him.
Get him.
Get him, boys.
Get him. Get him. And I'm djWHEAT. Joining me, as always, is Chill. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very excited for this matchup. We've seen two very, very close games. And then we saw one kind of a beatdown there from Drewbie. So will Kyhol be able to pull another one back and take it all the way to the fifth and final game? I don't know. Lost Temple will determine it. Here's the countdown, Chill. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Take it away, sir.
Okay, so as we said, we're here on Lost Temple Game 4. This could be the start of Kyle's big comeback. Good luck. Have fun. Good game. Good luck, have fun. No happy face. So we've got a little early banter here of Game 4 as Kyhol has spawned as blue Terran. Get him fighting in the 6 o'clock position. And Root.Drewbie has spawned in the 9 o'clock.
Oh my God!
Red.
He just said it at the same time. Oh wow, you guys, you're all in tune. I can totally tell you're crazy like that. So get him fighting indeed. So early moments here now. Kyhol there. Let's talk a little bit about the timings because there is definitely, I believe, room to argue that Drewbie had a moment where I think he probably could have won that game. But as you mentioned, Kyhol able to really adapt well and recover from a fairly devastating loss there. For a while there, his income was pretty bad. Drewbie, I think, maybe got a little bit too comfortable letting his opponent into his base. And decided to just trade it up that way. So I'm just kind of interested to see how Kyhol is going to approach this matchup here. He's made some good decisions, and in the last game, it won him that one.
Yeah, and as we talked about as it was happening in Game 3, I feel like Kyhol did get the advantage of the early game. He got his expansion up really quickly. He got his production set up. He had that nice battle at the bottom right position on Metalopolis. So I think the early game the result kind of compounded out of the early game advantages that Kyhol took in that game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And in each of these games, especially in a Terran versus Terran, you get that early advantage, and you definitely are going to, if you are a good enough player, be able to hold on to that and just basically excel, get more units, better economy, etc. Don't forget, we also had that somewhat, I would say, failed Hellion drop from Drewbie. Just wasn't nearly as effective as I think he wanted it to be. Marine out now for Drewbie, watching the ramp as Marine is going to go to the choke here for Kyhol. But, that also kind of put him behind. You're going to commit yourself and resources and army to something like that. And really, when you do that, you've got to make sure that it pays off in some way, shape, and form. And I don't think he really kept up any sort of Hellion production at all. So will he continue that sort of play in this matchup? We'll just have to wait and see.
And we see Kyle's going for the same build order that we've seen him use in 2 of the 3 games, going for that reactor and then going to put his factory down, going to expect to see the Raven coming out. Meanwhile, Drewbie is switching over to the Kyhol style, so putting down a reactor as well and a factory, but this reactor is a little bit later. I wouldn't be surprised to see the factory actually jump onto the reactor and put out a few Hellions, but there's a few ways to play this out. Let's see what he does with this initial reactor.
He's going to at least make 1 Hellion to start, Chill, and we'll have to wait for that reactor to finish and the Hellion to finish to see if he's going to lift and go after that. Meanwhile, Drewbie scouting out with some Marines. Same amount here for Kyhol. He's going to check his vision, and that is about it. He's got a few more coming out there as well. So here we go. First Hellion's out. He is not going to go. He's going to go ahead and produce Marines out of that reactor barracks, and I would say that is exactly what he's doing, going on over to Kyle's build as it stands. And here once again we have this starport that's just kind of like off to the side.
Yeah, I really like the off to the side starport. Does make it a little bit dangerous when drops start coming to play, but if you want to do any sort of early tech, you might as well hide it from the all-watching eye of the scan that Terran possesses. Meanwhile, first Hellion out for Drewbie. He's going to take it for a spin, try to pick off any Marines that are walking around, going to check the watchtower. and then probably go to Snipe Marines. And let's see what Kyle's up to. It looks exactly the same, so he's comfortable with this build, and he's going to keep using it.
I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't. I think at this point, you've got to go, okay, what did work against my opponent, and really use it. You know, especially when you are probably at somewhat of a little bit of a disadvantage. Now, Kyhol actually making an interesting move and pushing his opponent out of his own Xel'Naga and basically back into his base. He is going to drop down his command center and move all of his units out here. Let's see if he's going to go over here and take out these remaining units. It looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Moves forward, gets some initial damage. He's also got a medevac out as well, as we have the Raven coming out first there for Kyhol. So he's going to evict those Marines out of the Xel'Naga tower. Meanwhile, he's got a pretty nice army back in his main.
So Drewbie getting the advantage of the early game build orders here as he puts down his expansion well before Kyle. Kyle putting his in his main base. And we've got a drop coming in for Drewbie. Looks like Kyle is a little bit prepared for it. Drewbie has caught wind of that. Now looks like he's going to try to drop anyway, which I find surprising. But he goes in. Kyle has this tank, which should be able to help out. But the medevac, you know, they are pretty magical in this game. They can do a lot of damage. But the medevac, is it going to get taken out? Oh my god, I can't believe he got out of there with 5 HP.
Yeah, he actually killed a lot of Marines there for Kyle. And only took 4 Marine losses himself. So that was pretty nice. I thought with all those Marines spread out there, but that was his disadvantage. Those Marines literally came in like one by one by one. And just were mowed down there by those Marines of Drewbie. So Drewbie, although he did lower the amount of units he had, I think he did a pretty good job there in defense of that. He's also got, look at this, a Banshee going around on the outside. It's going to come right in back through here. There is no missile turret down. In fact, I don't even think that we have an eBay for our Terran player. And so what's coming out of here? A Banshee for him. Too bad it's not a Viking, because we've now got this guy moving into position. Marines are going to be way over there, and he might be able to get a couple of SCVs. There's 2 already. Make it 3. Trying to move out of the way of those Marines. 4. Looking for number 5, and does a great job in there.
Yeah, really nice micro by Drewbie here as he's just scooting around, picking off what he can. Actually damaging Marines, too. That's surprising. Kyle really needs to get a tech lab on his barracks and get stim. You can see Kyle is running into production problems here as he's way up at 500 minerals, which you should not be at this early. And look at this Banshee still taking out units. It might fly into the auto turret, which would just be hilarious to me, but no, it actually manages to escape and just flies away. Meanwhile, we've got the second Banshee coming into the natural of Kyle from the right side.
Yeah, that Banshee right there, that thing got, how many, 10 kills? And here comes another Banshee over to the side. This is going to end up being a very, very effective set of units that he has chosen to make right here. Meanwhile, he's just reinforcing his front as well. And what were they? Okay, was there a drop in the back? Oh, he's dealing with the Banshee over on his side, and he is going to get up on the cliff. It is at half health. He's going to go ahead and ferry these units up to the top. I really like that idea. Meanwhile, this Banshee, actually, it's probably to his advantage that it sits there for a little bit, because as it moves in here, when it finally decides to, it's going to get clean shots at these SCVs and these mules that are just basically doing absolutely nothing here. So let's see if he's actually going to move out with that Banshee. Come on. Come on, Banshee. There we go. Look at that.
Yeah. It's been mobilized now. Going to move in. It doesn't have cloak, so that is one issue. And look at this auto turret that Kyle's actually put in his main base, or in his natural. Just as kind of a preventative measure. So that's going to help on the left side, but that's really not doing anything for all these SCVs that are getting picked off. And Kyle has decided to say, forget this, and just counterattack. And Drewbie has decided to say, I'm okay with that, and just counterattack.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. We got a bunch of Ravens. He's coming in from the back. He's already ferried some units up. He's got control of his base. Meanwhile, this Banshee finally taken out by that Viking, but not before doing a ton of damage. And look at nothing. Nothing is mining up here in Kyle's base. He's got another Banshee just doing damage here to supply depots. Meanwhile, in the base, you can see that Kyle has moved forward, but he has taken a considerable amount of losses. Only a few siege tanks. So I do believe that this trade is going to go into Drewbie's favor, but he's got to move forward here.
But Kyle actually drops 2 auto turrets, which take out the Vikings, and he's kept his Raven alive and dealing a lot of damage. You know, he's completely cleaned up the entire natural of Drewbie, actually taking out the orbital command as it's not being lifted. And now he's moving forward and taking out units as they're being produced. Drewbie's production, really, he's just making Marines and a Banshee, and that's all he's got in the tab. Now bringing out all the SCVs and bringing in some Marines to try to deal with this. And he's going to lose a lot of SCVs here. Tank kills at 9 and the other one at 13, gets another shot, 16. But meanwhile, the main base of Kyhol under complete assault of Drewbie with 4 tanks and medevacs. I don't know if Kyhol can hold on here.
Oh my God, there it is. GG as those SCVs are annihilated. And Root.Drewbie will win the TeamSpeak Team Liquid StarCraft 2 Open in 4 games. I think that last game was really great play by Drewbie. I think that he just kept his head on straight. Of course, we had the double-pronged Banshee attack that just did an enormous amount of damage to our Terran Kyhol. But, man, a round of applause for Kyhol. Really doing a great job in that matchup, even taking a game off of Drewbie. I'll give him my golf clap as well there. Kyhol does manage to make it to the finals, but it is Root.Drewbie who wins the TL Open StarCraft 2 number 5, brought to you by TeamSpeak. And that was just such a